Hey guys, I'm your host Smitha and welcome to Journey Podcast, your weekly podcast on transformational journeys. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello everybody, I have Mary Hernandez with me today. She is a digital entrepreneur, business coach, and expert in sponsored travel. She helps ambitious digital entrepreneurs create a passion-driven business without confusing process by using attraction marketing to align with their soul clients. She is the CEO of Marie Hernandez Coaching LLC. She travels, lives, and works globally and offers a coaching program that helps women 45 plus bridge the gap from where they are to the place of love and strength and live any life they choose. And I really love the way you mentioned you are helping the women above 45. Yeah. And thank you for coming here and sharing your story. If I can ask, why do you want to choose a 45 plus woman there? You can start with
well, that. Well, thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here. Because because I started over at 50. So, when I started over at 50, I found my life pretty devastated. Everything that I thought that I had and everything that I thought that I was, I found out was a lie. So I was pretty devastated and kind of like, where do I start over? How do I start over? Who do I turn to? And there's lots of people out there, but the focus is generally on a certain topic and not necessarily on a woman of a certain age. And that wasn't okay with me. So once I decided to take what I love, which is travel and entrepreneurship, and refocus where I wanted to go with my life, I decided that that's what I was going to do. I was going to focus on women. There are a couple of men in my programs. I love it. I absolutely love it. For some of the men, I love when men are bold enough to say, "Hey, I feel aligned to you. So can you coach me?" I love that when they ask, and I will not say no. But for the most part, it's women, 45 and over, who are starting over. They realize that they do have the power. They want to empower themselves to create a digital business. That's the separation as well, is I help them create a digital business based on their passion, on what they absolutely love. And it could be anything. So yeah, and that came about, like I said, just I was 50. I turned 50 in August, and in October, it was less. It was a little bit more than a month that I found out. Yeah, it was by accident. I found out that my entire life had changed. My husband found out that my then husband was not just cheating, but like creating lives all over the place, like with different women, and also embezzling money, and it was just devastating. So I was 10,000 miles away from home when I found this out, and we lived there, and I had no way to come home because there was no money to come home. I couldn't get a job there because I was sponsored there through his work. So I was kind of left, treading water, so to speak. So I had to figure it out. I finally did make after 6 months, I had to stay there 6 months. It was the law. I had to be there for 6 months until they can finalize everything. And I was able to sell enough stuff to buy my ticket back to the US. So yeah, I landed on US land with no home, nothing, because I had sold everything to go there. There was no point in owning anything because we were there for 6 years. So we sold everything. So when I came back, I literally had 2 suitcases and a backpack. That was it. That was all I had. So I was blessed enough. I have 3 girls and 3 boys. This was my second marriage, and I had 3 girls and 3 boys. So I was blessed that they were older and they, let mom come and hang out. But as wonderful as that is, they had their lives, I couldn't be there. I couldn't stay there. So I had to decide what I was going to do, right? I was just kind of like, what am I going to do? I had a choice. I could go back to the corporate world that I hated. I'm not a corporate girl. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I always knew that I was going to have my own business at some point. Or I could create a life of fulfillment and service and love. And that's what I decided to do. So awesome. I took what I knew about my sponsored travel life and becoming a digital entrepreneur. And I got my degree in psychology. So I mixed all that beautiful stuff together And I came up with a very unique system to help women, like I said, build a digital life, digital business based on their passion. And it's been a wonderful ride it's been a wonderful ride since. I've been to 54 countries, and
Wow.
I mean, it's just been amazing. I've met some amazing human beings, and I've connected in ways that I never thought I could. And it's wonderful because it was the travel that healed me. My first trip was to Tuscany. I spent 3 months there. It's funny because people always say, "You're the real life, eat, pray, love." Except for I stayed in Tuscany. I just stayed there, and yeah, I ate what I wanted, and I saw art, and I connected with people, and that was what's important to me then. That's what helped healed me, is that connection. Because I was very disjointed and disconnected, because I felt that I was outside my body watching somebody that I didn't know. And it was as much healing as it was discovery as well. I learned about myself. I had to be accountable for the mistakes that I made. No mistakes, lessons. For all the lessons that I
Absolutely.
learned. But I was the common denominator in the perceived failures of the lessons that I had. And I had to, it was a hard look. It's hard to realize that. You have to be accountable to the choices that you made. Nobody forced me to marry him. I did, and yes, what he did was unfair, but it also led me to this life and this person and this amazing. So I'm literally grateful. I'm literally grateful for all the pain and all the cracks, because those cracks let the light shine through, don't they? So
Absolutely.
yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and it led to this now, and I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it for the world.
That's so nice to see.
Yeah.
One question, if you don't mind to share, what was your relationship like with him?
That's what was so hard and so confusing. It was absolutely wonderful. As a matter of fact, when I was the catalyst to saying we're getting divorced, because infidelity was not acceptable to me. And then at that level, he had a girlfriend, and he was engaged to a second woman, and then we were married, and then he was planning a wedding with even a third one. So he had three different people aside from me, and then he was also on internet, sites all over the place. So um, I had no idea this was going. He was master at what he did, and that was part of it too, because I felt stupid. Like, am I that dumb that I didn't see it? But when we did decide to divorce, he played the victim, of course, as narcissists will do, and people blamed me. Our friends blamed me. They said, you walked on water to him, and he treated you like a queen, and he did. He really did. That's why I had no clue. I mean, I was his heir. It was just, he treated me so wonderfully, and I really was madly in love with him. I really was. And so for me, there was no inkling. I did not perceive it. Like, he didn't treat me badly, or he didn't, it was just wonderful. The marriage was wonderful, and he was supportive of the things that I wanted to do. In hindsight, now I see they all served him well. On these sponsored trips that I took, I was gone for a long time. So it had afforded him the freedom to do what he wanted to do as well. So, yeah, in hindsight, now I can see where the cracks were, and I didn't notice them because the marriage seemed okay. But very quickly after I left Singapore, I think it was 3 months, and he was already engaged to the woman that I had caught him with. So, it's that's on him. That's his karma. That's his life. It's not mine. So yeah, the relationship, I have to say, to my knowledge, was good. And that's probably part of the reason that it hurt so bad, is that I didn't expect it. So.
How did you find out that he's cheating on you?
He flew, so he received an immense raise and promotion within his company, and they flew him back to the US to meet with the big guys. Interestingly enough, my best friend was his boss. So that's the thing, is she's like, "Oh, we're so excited." She pushed for this as well, for him to get this big promotion, and she's like, "Oh, they're flying him back. This is going to be wonderful." And I was like, "Oh," and I happened to have my my one trip that I had always wanted it through sponsorship to the Maldives at the same time. So I had to choose not to go back with him because that was a business trip for me. And he was going to be gone 3 weeks. So no problem. So he went, he flew out, and the flight is literally, the trip is 24 hours by the time you get back to New York. So he said, I'll let you know when I land. And I said, okay. And he texted me, said, I landed. I'm going to the hotel. I'll call you when I get there. I love you. No problem. So an hour goes by and he calls me, and I said, how are you? He said, really tired. I didn't sleep much on the plane. Blah, blah, blah. Conversation. And interestingly enough, don't ask me why. Here I have been to the most amazing, luxurious places in the world. But out of my mouth comes, how's the hotel room that you're in? He said, oh, it's beautiful. It has a sitting room and it's gorgeous and it has a balcony. And I said, send a picture. I still don't think that it was me, because I had, like I said, I've been in over the water bungalows with glass floors and yachts, and why do I care about the Hilton in in Delaware? You know what I mean? Like, why would I care? But I think it was a divine intervention, to be honest with you. So he said, oh yeah, sure, I will. I said, do it right now. I want to see. And he said, okay. So he said, okay, I'll talk to you later. I love you. We hung up, and bang, the picture came. And I opened it up and I said, So in one corner are women's high heel shoes, and in another corner are some clothes and makeup, and in another corner are some earrings. And so I picked the phone back up and I said, it's okay if you decided to cross dress, but you should have probably told me before you did that. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, high heel shoes, makeup, earrings. And he hung up on me. And that is when I got pissed off. Don't you hang up on me. So I sat with it for a minute, literally felt like I had gotten the donkey kicked in the chest. It was really very, like, physically painful as well. I took a breath, but I knew with utter certainty that that was finished. That was it. And so I messaged him 2 words, I'm done. And that was it. He tried to explain, he sent long messages, and it was as painful as it was a settling in me that I knew that that was it. We were done. Like, it didn't occur to me that if he would have come to me and said, let's try, I was done. So I know that it's divine intervention, because as devastated as I was still on the other side of that coin, completely finished. It was not acceptable to me. And I knew, I had a knowing that this was it. And that was, so it was a shocker.
What was his explanation like? I mean, when you said that we are done, the reason I wanted to ask, because I have heard my personal story in the same way. So I'm really intrigued to understand, like, what is the explanation from there?
It's funny. So the first one was, I felt really sorry. I was downstairs eating in the restaurant, and I saw a woman crying. It turns out that she got beat up by her pimp. She's a prostitute. And I told her that she could sleep in the outer room until she found a place to go. Okay. So I didn't answer that text. That was a long text. 2 days later, another text came in. Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. She was a school teacher, and she had answered an ad for this guy, and they met at the hotel, and he left her there. I don't know, something like this. And I'm thinking in my mind, because I did not want to speak to him again. I'm thinking in my mind, so the next story, she's going to be a nun. And I'm thinking, what's happening? Like, what kind of ridiculous, what is happening here that you think that this is acceptable? And I'm not that dumb. And I was more angry that he thought I was stupid enough to buy either one of those stories than anything else. Like, really? So yeah, there were some. And then when he got back, he asked to speak to me, and I was like, okay. And he said, I just want to explain, I have a disease. And I said,
sorry.
So I let that go, and he goes, see, I can't talk to you. I was like, I don't know what to say to you. And then he goes, I, well, it was a mistake. And I said, I won't repeat what I said because it's a little graphic. So I don't want to shock people. But at that point, I was like, please don't assume I'm stupid enough to buy any of this. Like, yeah, I don't understand. I have a disease. This isn't fair. So very narcissistic, like trying to shift the blame on me and make me feel bad. I remained calm through the whole thing because either I remained calm or the next scene was gonna be me in an orange jumper being led to the prison. So I figured I better just be calm. So, yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna remain calm. So.
For me, when I caught him, my husband, then first thing was like, it is not me at all. My friend came in with his girlfriend, and they were there, and yeah, man, you asked me, and I just sent you a picture or like whatever that scenario is, and I said like, okay, who is that friend? Call and put it on speaker. I wanted to listen to him and why he brought a girl to our house. It is in
Yeah.
my house, actually. It is not even any hotel or anything. It is in my house, my own bedroom. I asked him, like,
Oh my God.
call that guy and put it on speaker. He's like, no, 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 he'll be so embarrassed because he got that girl, etc., etc. First, he said, like, that girl, whomever was there at house, they are about to get married, they said. His friend and the other girl is about to get married. When I
Oh,
asked to call and put it on speaker, then it was like, no, it is not officially discussed in their families, but they wanted to get married and they wanted to have a good time. So they asked me that. I said, like, even then, I'm not taking it wrong. They wanted to be together. I just wanted to say congratulations to him.
yeah.
Call him and put it on speaker. He was like, no, like, give me 5 minutes. I'll be back. And I'm getting a call. He just rushed out. And after 10 minutes, he came back and he's like, okay, I'm going to call him and put it on speaker. And I said, like, yes, fine.
Yeah, he was calling him real quick to say, hey, yeah.
The minute he put it on speaker, and I just said, like, hey, how are you, man? Is everything okay? I did not ask any single word. Even that guy himself started telling me all the story, like, hey, I came there with my girlfriend and I used your house. And I'm like, did I even ask you that? And why are you
Yeah.
giving that explanation to me?
Yeah. Did
He
I
just
ask you for
got
an extra?
shocked.
Yeah.
He got
Yeah.
shocked. He disconnected the phone. He did not want to
Uh-huh.
talk.
Mm.
I asked this guy again, like, so you prepped him for this 10 minutes.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Of
He did
course.
not
Yeah.
even understand what your plan is. He just blabbered on whatever he wants. And then
Yeah.
the same kind of story, the girl who came in was having some troubles in her family. And yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he just wanted to take care of her. And I'm like, why is she
So
coming to you?
sweet.
Yeah. Out of everybody on the earth, she's coming
On the
to you.
planet. You're to get it right. Exactly. Oh,
And
aren't you so kind?
we both are actually classmates. So
Oh,
well, whoever his friends are, they are my friends too. So
oh geez.
I asked like, who is that girl? Yeah, no, 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 nobody. Don't care about that. She took a promise from me that I never talk about her or anything. And I'm like, all the girls
Hannah?
are close to me, so they don't want to talk to me, but they wanted to talk to you about their family problems. And he was like, he gave a big story that they are going to a rough patch and whatever that is. Less than few hours, actually. In few, I don't want to talk anything. I don't want to say anything. I just heard it and I said, okay, leave it there. I don't want to continue this conversation. After a few hours, then again came back and then I was like, it's all your fault because of you. I'm doing all this bullshit. I'm like,
Of
what?
course.
Why
Of
is that?
course. Yeah.
And
Huh?
you,
Really?
oh yeah. But I asked like, why
How is
is
that
that?
my fault? Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
that
That's
my
a
fault? How did
narcissist.
I do
Yeah.
that? And he
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you were never close with me. You don't want me to be with you. And yeah, you are career oriented. You are
Okay.
taking care of other things. You don't have time for me. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, then am I hearing that you did a mistake now? Is that what it is there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happened to your friend's girlfriend and other lady that is having troubles and some other stories? And
So you
finally,
lied.
finally
Yeah.
it came down to my mistake. And he's like, yes,
Mm.
it's yours, it's your mistake. And yeah, whatever this is, I'm not going to continue talking about this. I never did like anything like this. And I'm like, do you want me to tell you
Mm.
something? And he's like, okay, what is it? I actually saw you sleeping with girl there. Actually, I did.
Oh my gosh.
I came early from office. Usually he picks me up from office. I was never allowed to go alone by myself. I was not allowed to go by myself, come by myself. If I'm actually leaving office to come home, I have to give him a call and tell him like,
Of
I'm
course.
coming back.
Yeah.
And he'll say like, okay, I'll pick up or whatever that is. He'll arrange that. Since I was having bad headache migraine, I don't want to give him a call and keep waiting in the office. So I just came home. My
Right.
office is like 10 minutes away from my home. So I came home, I saw these two guys. I don't want to say anything. My aunt's house is literally the next door. He's
Hmm.
having all these things right in front of my family.
Oh my goodness.
I went to my aunt's house. My aunt's first question was like, do you see the girl inside? Is that the reason that you came out? I'm like, so you guys, everybody
You
know.
know? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
you all of you guys know, but you guys don't
Oh,
want to tell me what is happening. And she was like, yes, I know. I was actually having a conversation about this to your dad, and yeah, we wanted to see what happens. And I'm like, when are you planning to tell me? Actually, I'm the person
oh,
here.
jeez.
And
My
I told him,
goodness.
like, I saw you, so don't even give me crap giving all this. I
Yeah.
was just trying to see whether you will really man up to own your mistake. Tell me, like, yes, this is what happened.
Right.
We can talk about it, or like, let's see whatever happens after. But instead, you wanted to give me all these stories, and you were like, as if it is my mistake, you're putting it on
Yeah.
me. And then, so when I was listening to your story, those things were running in my mind like a flashback. And I'm like,
Yep.
yes, I've been
Yep.
there. I know what it is.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. So yeah. Yeah. But lessons learned, right?
Absolutely.
Lessons learned. Yes. Much happier now. Love the life that I had. I wouldn't trade it. And I actually, it's funny because I do get asked from people if you could go back and change anything, would you? Which is it's a funny question because we could never do that. But if you could daydream and go back, no, I really wouldn't, because I think that the lessons that I've learned are so incredibly valuable that they've actually transformed me into the person that I am. And had it gone any other way, I might not have learned those lessons and not been the person that I am now. So it's with joy that those mistakes happen. And I often think of a child, right? How many times does it fall before it can walk, and how many times does it trip before it can run? And so it's the same concept. I think we learn more from our perceived mistakes than we do from our successes, for sure, because they're hard learned. So
Absolutely. All
yeah.
those lessons are like, yeah, life lessons who made
Yeah.
us like
Yeah.
this today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All the choices, though it is super hard for us to make those choices, we
Hmm.
stood by that. We were, yes, this is it. This
Yeah.
is what I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely
Definitely.
incredible. So, yes, the second step of your journey, when you mentioned you just packed everything and came back home
Yeah.
with two suitcases. And I believe in our previous conversation, you were mentioning you had a bank balance of 16 cents.
16 cents, my 16-cent story. Yeah. Yeah.
Please
So,
go ahead.
so I decided that I was going, when I decided what I wanted to do, I was going to start this program that I had, because my idea was quite unique. And my way of doing things is quite unique. I'm one of these I like to call it a rule breaker. I don't, when somebody tells me I have to follow a certain rule to get something done, I try to find the opposite way to do it. So, but I wanted to hire a business coach because I wanted to make sure that I, in fact, was, on the right track. And so I interviewed one and loved her. I felt aligned to her and I wanted to sign up, and I went to my bank account. I had 16 cents in it. That was it. 16 cents. And no idea where a dollar was going to come from. And it was not acceptable for me to just go and get a regular job somewhere, just to go, because I knew that if I did that I would be tired, or I would use it as an excuse not to get the things done that I needed to get done. I knew that about me, that I would just fall into that complacent kind of, we become comfortable with the uncomfortable, and we just go ahead and, all right, this is life and this is what I'm going to do. And I knew years would go by and I would not accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. So I put a program together the best that I knew how, by just doing some research online, figuring it out as I went. But I stood strong in my knowledge and my desire and my belief systems. I knew that I had something to offer. I knew that my systems that I use are very unique to other people. And so I went with that. And I connected with people. And that's one of the things too, is I work through attraction marketing, where it's just your story, your genuine reciprocal energy that you give and take from people are really what connect you in a genuine way. And so I did that, and I put this program together. And I remember, I was doing the modules to one of the programs, and I was sitting inside of a closet because, all the clothes were hanging, were forming like making it quiet.
Oh, yes.
I was my parents were living in an RV. They were traveling the United States, and so I was staying with them a little bit. And so I was in this little closet, and I was recording my session, and I was just thinking, this is going to work. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it sounds like. And it doesn't matter, none of it matters. What matters is the content. What matters is what people get out of it. What matters is what they learn and how they transform. And so I had no idea how to deliver it. I had no idea about marketing. I had no idea about any of it, like how to build a solid foundation on social media so people follow you. I just went out and talked about it. And I went into groups, and I talked to people about it. I connected with them. I engaged with them. I just talked, and people started slowly to get interested. And I remember the first one I sold, I love him so much. I gave him lifetime access to all of my programs as a way of saying thank you, because he was such an amazing human. And he was my first sale. And at that time, the course that I had, or the program that I had, was a drip course. And then I would do live, like kind of in the group one-on-ones kind of thing through WhatsApp. And because I couldn't afford anything that was out there that would allow me to connect like Zoom, I couldn't at the time. I didn't afford it. So he bought the program, but he wanted it as an all-in-one. And it was a 5-week drip program. And at first I tried to tell him, I was like, well, no, it's designed so that you can learn and implement, and then we'll go through in a coaching session. And he said, well, if you give it all to me, I'll pay triple the price, and we'll still meet each other every week. But I like to go through things quickly. And I thought, triple the price.
Exactly.
I just remember going, oh my God, I'm going to eat this week. Like, it was just so amazing to me. So of course I couldn't say no, but I didn't realize at the time what a gift he was. Like, he was just that gift that I needed, because I really was genuinely doing things. So I said yes. He went through the program. He killed it. He ended up getting, I think, something like $12,000 worth of sponsorships in Cabo San Lucas. And he just started singing my praises and bringing more people to me. And, it was amazing. So now I'm helping him, like he's developing another business, and he's in my business program. But he can have whatever he wants, because he was who I needed, that kind of support. And he was that kind of light that I needed at the end of that dark tunnel, to make me feel, yes, it's possible, and yes, what I'm doing is right. And so it's a wonderful transition story that I love to tell people, that you never know where people are going to come from or how to help, but believing in yourself and knowing that you're doing the right thing, that's what matters.
Absolutely. So that's amazing. As you said, like, yes, things will fall into place at time.
They
So
do.
we are like, we feel that there is no light at all. It is there. It's just like our patience and the way we search for it.
Exactly. And sometimes we overthink. Like, you just sometimes have to just let it be and trust the process, trust who you are, trust in whatever higher source you have. Like, you have to trust and know that the universe has your back. Believe in yourself and trust that you're going to find the way. And sometimes that's not easy, especially when you're kind of like circling the drain of pain and all that other stuff. But it's definitely serves you well when you can trust and believe in your own dreams.
So though your marriage did not end up as you expected, you had a wonderful life before, and your transformation story, and now you are here. So how do you define your journey as a holistic from beginning to this place?
Wow. I'd have to say that the first 50 years of my life was just a journey of discovery and, um, you know, a lot of mistakes were made and a lot of wrong turns were made, but I was never one to give up. I always wanted more. My marriage before this one, he used to say to me, why isn't it never enough? Why do you always search for more, or look for more, or want more? And I remember saying to him, because life is full of more and I don't want to just settle. I want more. I want it all. I want to be fulfilled. And that was really the word for me. So I kept searching and I kept going and I kept doing. And through that, I've become an example, to my daughters and to all my daughters are very strong women, and all of them go after their dreams and realize their dreams and work hard and pick themselves up when they fall. And my sons too, all of them are I think that they have seen me getting up from falling is more to them than me just telling them about a lesson. It's seeing it in action, I think. And so it's everything happened for a reason. I used to never believe that, but I do believe that all of that happened for a reason. And the best part of my life started at 50 on that day. So the transformational story was, all of those lessons, the first 50 years were all lessons that will sustain me now for the rest of my life. And I don't need to make them anymore. So it keeps getting better. It just does. Like every year is better than the year before in every way. And, right now I don't have anybody substantial in my life. I don't have a partner in my life, but I'm okay with that because before I felt like I had to, I have to be somebody. And I don't. I am my own somebody. And I love that. I love that. And he's out there somewhere, sitting in a cafe having a glass of wine waiting for me, maybe. Or having a cappuccino, or maybe he's flying somewhere, but he's there. And when the time is right, yeah, I'm patient. I'm okay. I'm okay waiting.
When you think about your entire life, whatever ups and downs and everything, what is the biggest mistake that you think that you have done? Biggest mistake or biggest lesson that you have learned?
Mhm. Probably not believing in myself, not believing that I was worthy of what I wanted, and allowing someone else to be responsible for my own happiness instead of giving that responsibility to myself. I always thought that it was selfish. Everybody else had to be happy. I wasn't worthy of that. If everybody else was happy, then I'll be happy. But it's not the case. So yeah, that's probably the biggest lesson was, believing utterly in myself and my dreams and being responsible for my own happiness. That's not anybody else's job. It's
Yep.
mine.
Yep. What is your strength that you can say?
My strength. My strength is probably the ability to get up constantly, to constantly stand up, be accountable for the things that I do, and to live with joy, to be happy. I that's my strength, is no matter what happens, I overcome and I can find the good in it. And I love that. I love finding the joy no matter what happens. And yeah, I have to say that's my strength.
Awesome. Awesome. How do you define success in your words?
Success. Success is when you have utter fulfillment, and that's not a dollar amount. Money to me is a byproduct of happiness.
Yes.
It of course it happens, of course, but when you can be of service and we can help others and we can make someone else laugh or smile, or when you can give someone else inspiration or hope, and you can live a life from fulfillment in that way, when you know that you are happy and that you're responsible and accountable and that other people find joy being around you, that's success.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I believe your family, entire family, you said like you just had a grandchild.
Almost. So I have my 11th one is coming any day now. And within the next couple of weeks, we're having another little girl. So I have 11 grandchildren, 6 children, 3 girls, 3 boys, and 11 grandchildren, almost 11. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Have any one of your child came up to you saying that this is what I have learned from you.
Yes, my oldest one just did that earlier this year. We were having lunch and she said, Mom, I just want you to know that, I didn't always understand, why you did what you did or what happened or, the choices that you made. But now I do. And you, no matter what, you always overcome and you're so strong. And that makes us strong. It's a good example. That was the best present I could have ever gotten. The best
Absolutely.
present. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you want to give any note before we close, or is there anything else that you wanted to explain about
I
yourself?
just,
Anything?
I had a great time. And I just want to say to anybody listening, that's really what life is about. It's about living in fulfillment. It's about, yes, we're going to fall. We're going to skin our knees. We're going to get hurt. Terrible things happen. But focusing on the terrible things isn't what life is about. We can't move forward when we're looking backwards. You can't. And so believing in yourself and trusting in yourself and being responsible for your own happiness, that's what it's all about. And take a chance on yourself, invest in yourself, love yourself. Because if you don't love you, you can't love anybody else, can you? So really, yeah.
When you said believe in yourself, I heard from somebody recently, like, how do you actually do that? Because, for example, if I'm talking about myself, like a basic example, if I'm like in my
Mhm.
lowest point, and if somebody is coming and telling me, like, yeah, believe in yourself, trust your gut, do what makes you happy. From another person's perspective, yes, you are okay to say that, and you feel like, yes, it is okay. But for me, I'm in deep hole that I don't even know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
How can I believe myself?
That's a very good question. So the key is to shift that focus. Instead of saying I have nothing to believe in myself, or I don't know where to start, or I don't understand, or this thing is so bad that I can't see any joy from it. Shifting your perspective and saying, I don't understand yet, but finding something and remembering something and finding joy in that moment. We can always find something to be grateful for. So focusing on gratitude instead of on what's has you in that pit of despair is what's going to pull you up. So there's so many, and doesn't have to be grandiose. Sometimes I wake up and I look up at the ceiling and I say, thank you for my eyesight. I can see my ceiling. Just something because how many people
That's
don't have sight?
yes.
Or thank you for this pillow. It's so comfortable. Sometimes just doing that can shift your focus and take you away from feeling in despair. And believing in yourself is knowing unequivocally that no matter what's happening, my dreams and my desires are valid, just like anybody else's. Just like every single human being has the right to be happy. And so do I, so do you. And to devalue your own happiness, that's your responsibility, and try not to do that. Just say, you know what, nobody else is telling me. And even if someone on the outside is saying you're not worthy, that says more about them than
Yes,
it does say
that's
about
their
you.
problem.
They're not responsible for your worthiness. They're not responsible. Nobody holds in judgment of that, although we all judge, but we don't have that right. So don't allow somebody else to have that responsibility. You do deserve happiness. And sometimes it's just a matter of starting tiny. Like, I woke up today and I can smell coffee in the air, or, something tiny, something small. My nightgown is comfortable, or, my sheets are clean. Something that's small, but something in gratitude because there's somebody in the world that has it worse than you, and is still in gratitude. That's the beautiful part of traveling for me. I've been to some of the poorest countries in the world. I've seen children in Indonesia playing on side streets that are 4 feet deep in garbage, and they're laughing and they have brightness in their eyes and they're chasing each other and they're smiling and giggling. And they're playing on garbage. Our kids here are crying because they don't have the newest iPhone.
Yep.
Like, you know
Yep.
what I mean? So, but finding that joy, like looking at them and seeing that they're absolutely happy playing with each other on garbage. Like, I've seen that. I've been to Africa and Rwanda where they have literally nothing to wear at all. They're walking naked, but they're still smiling. There's still joy there, genuine joy, not joy in a new toy or not joy in, the latest video game. Joy because they're just playing with each other. That's true happiness right there. That'll knock you back into perspective for sure. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for tuning in, and you can find me on all the socials at Smitha Gunturi and the show notes for any resources mentioned. See you next week. Take care.